and welcome to our presentation on the Internet of Things. I'm Justin Haight, and today I'll be joined by Katie Kisseljack, Morgan Cobb, Will Steinman, and Ross Swikard. Today we will be looking at applications of the Internet of Things, or IoT, and examine how this exciting new technology is reshaping the modern business world. Let's begin.
My name is Ross Swikard, and for this slide I will discuss what the Internet of Things is. The Internet of Things is a network of physical objects, which are things, that has the ability to connect and exchange data with any digital devices through an Internet network. A thing can be anything. The GPS in your car that monitors your travels and driver performance. An app on your phone that is connected to the sensors in your house and allows you to monitor and control appliances, such as lightings. A sensor that monitors and detects issues for medical patients with heart issues, and so much more. The Internet of Things is important because it allows people to live and work smarter and easier, as they can now have thorough control over their lives. Not only is the Internet of Things helpful at home, it is also vital to businesses. The Internet of Things gives businesses an opportunity to have a real-time observation of their systems and the machine's performances. With the Internet of Things, the industries such as manufacturing, transportation and logistics, energy and utilities, and healthcare will be more effective and conduct better decision making in order to provide the best quality service for their customers. This is Ross again, and for this next slide, I will briefly talk about the applications of the Internet of Things. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the Internet of Things can be much more than just connected devices in one's home. The Internet of Things is also applied to various industries that we will discuss throughout this presentation. With the Internet of Things, companies will be able to automate processes, improve the delivery of their services, offer transparency in customers' transactions, and encourage development for their business models. The Internet of Things also enables companies to gather, store, and analyze an abundance of data from their product's performance. Thanks to the Internet of Things, companies are being reshaped due to being exposed to new business models and competitions.
My name is Morgan Cobb, and I will be discussing the weaknesses and concerns involved with Internet of Things. Since billions of new designs and sensors link to the Internet of Things, new security risks are also emerging. The biggest 5 security risks include insecure web interface, insufficient authorization/authentication, insecure network services, lack of transport encryption, and privacy concerns. As insecure web interface can be presented when issues such as account enumeration, lack of account lockout, or weak credentials are present. Insecure web interfaces are prevalent as the intent is to have these interfaces exposed only on internal networks. However, threats from the internal users can be just as significant as threats from external users. Authentication may not be sufficient when weak passwords are used or are poorly protected. Insufficient authentication/authorization is prevalent as it is assumed that interfaces will only be exposed to users on internal networks and not to external users on other networks. Deficiencies are often found to be present across all interfaces. Insecure network services may be susceptible to buffer overflow attacks or attacks that create a denial of service condition, leaving the device inaccessible to the user. Denial of service attacks against other users may also be facilitated when insecure network services are available. Lack of transport encryption allows data to be viewed as it travels over local networks or the internet. Lack of transport encryption is prevalent on local networks as it is easy to assume that local network traffic will not be widely visible. However, in the case of a local wireless network, misconfiguration of that wireless network can make traffic visible to anyone within the range of that wireless network. Many issues with transport encryption are easy to discover simply by viewing network traffic and searching for readable data. Privacy concerns generated by the collection of personal data, in addition to the lack of proper protection of that data, is prevalent. Privacy concerns are easy to discover by simply reviewing the data that is being collected as the user sets up and activates the device.
Once again, this is Justin Haight. Next, we'd like to discuss which specific industries are being most affected by the rise of IoT technology, beginning with manufacturing. Modern manufacturing is where most Internet of Things projects are realized, and by far the market where most IoT investments are made. In fact, manufacturing encompasses an entire subcategory of IoT known as industrial IoT, which is the interconnection of sensors, instruments, and other devices that are networked together with industrial computer applications. The Industrial Internet of Things, IoT, takes these network sensors and intelligent devices and puts these technologies to use directly on the manufacturing floor, collecting data to drive artificial intelligence and predictive analytics. IoT is transforming traditional linear manufacturing supply chains into dynamic interconnected systems. Most of IoT's value will likely come from its ability to optimize operations, but IoT has the power to radically reshape every aspect of product development and delivery, from the plant floor to the value chain. Here are 5 primary IoT applications within manufacturing. First, information from other systems and devices can be fed directly back into the production line, enabling manufacturers to make improvements and adjustments far quicker than under previous systems. Better real-time asset tracking and sensor-based alerts trigger orders when stock runs low, allowing manufacturers to completely automate the inventory replenishment process. Manufacturers can automatically identify potential equipment failures before they happen, protecting employees and minimizing unplanned downtime. This is known as predictive repairing. Manufacturers can better allocate resources and improve worker skillfulness. And finally, with energy consumption being one of the largest expenses for manufacturers, machine sensors allow factories to measure and reduce energy and water waste, leading to lower costs and environmentally sustainable operations. Potential IoT applications within the manufacturing and industrial sectors are so great, I wanted to take a moment to discuss a current trend in automation and data exchange known as Industry 4.0. This name refers to the fourth industrial revolution. Whereas the first 3 industrial revolutions refer to the use of steam power and mechanization, development of electricity and assembly line production, and partial automation using computers respectively. Industry 4.0 represents a new stage in the organization and control of industrial value chain. Industry 4.0 and industrial IoT is commonly used interchangeably within manufacturing circles. However, the Industry 4.0 concept actually utilizes core IoT technology to unite other emerging technologies such as big data, advanced analytics, robotic automation, cloud computing, and machine learning. This blending of technologies forms what we call a smart factory. The image below demonstrates this connection, showing manufacturing systems that were once independent and operated by human workers are now part of a comprehensive, interlinked, and holistic approach to the manufacturing process. By connecting the physical with digital, there is now better collaboration and access across departments, vendors, and products. This efficient and autonomous approach to manufacturing increases efficiency, drives growth, and boosts productivity. The interconnection of systems was so unthinkable 50 years ago, whereas now it represents the fundamental future of all advanced manufacturing. This is made possible through the advanced development of IoT technology.
Hi, this is Katie Kisseljack, and much like Justin, I'll be discussing 2 industries that IoT can make a big impact. So IoT can make significant changes in the way that businesses utilize transportation and supply chains as a whole. So focusing in on transportation and logistics, Intel actually conducted a study that claimed that 30% of products ordered don't actually reach their end user. If we think about this, that's 3 out of 10 packages. That's a little bit outrageous. So how can IoT help solve that 30%? I think the biggest thing is by implementing IoT into transportation, key stakeholders within a company can actually view road conditions and current and historical traffic patterns. How does this help with that 30%? Well, in doing this, companies can actually alter their routes to maximize their efficiency. By focusing in on real-time data, companies can also use mapping software to alter delivery routes based off the traffic data they're acquiring, as well as monitor the performance of their drivers. So that's where we're really focusing on that 30%. So because they're acquiring data in real time, it allows companies to have a sort of head start to respond to any delays or issues with orders. In addition to that quick response, there's also greater security and peace of mind for a company's supply chain by not only tracking the trucks, but also the goods within the trucks and the deliveries in process. So different pallets, different boxes and whatnot can have tracking implemented into them. Another thing that sort of just impacts the safety and well-being of the trucks itself, maintenance and quality control. Is also another impact that can be made by using IoT sensors within a vehicle. So if we think, for example, a trucker is driving all the way across the country, he knows that the cab of his truck is safe and secure and cool, but he may be entirely unaware that the cooling system within the cargo portion of his truck is actually out. And so that's damaging the quality of any goods that he has in the back of his truck. And so a temperature sensor could go off and it would allow the company to know that that cooling unit needs to be serviced in an effort to continue to deliver quality materials. So that's just a couple ways at a high level that IoT can really impact the transportation and logistics industry. And another industry that has a lot of ground to cover in terms of what IoT can do for them would be the utilities industry. They can really benefit from the adoption of IoT. The most common use that we see of IoT sensors would be the implementation of smart meters that provide live statistics regarding the electrical usage of a home, as well as smart home appliances. And in doing this, this creates a direct line of communication between the usage of a home and the homeowner itself. And because of this, more services will be developed and customers will remain engaged with their energy usage and what they're using their energy on. And I think by engaging with customers, they will be increasingly aware of their usage and how to maximize it and save money. So this adoption is really benefiting the entire consumer market. And this is increasingly important to us as we sort of think of a green future for our country. This will be really, really important as many households are flipping to electric vehicles such as Tesla. And you're going to have to invest in the charging system that your car is going to need. And so your energy usage is going to increase. And so by providing a breakdown of what you're using your energy on, you're able to get more bang for your buck and have a greater understanding of what your usage is actually being broken down and used for. And in the long term, the utility industry hopes to utilize near real-time data to intelligently distribute energy to different regions. So if they know that at a certain time, there's a really big need for energy in the city of Atlanta, they're going to be able to look at that data real time and allocate it so that they're able to provide that energy for all consumers. This idea alone really maximizes efficiency and customer-driven decisions for the industry. And I think that right now we think of the utility industry, and all you really are thinking of is you get your monthly electricity bill, you pay it, you have no idea what you've used. Like you have the total, but you have no idea what you've really, to a granular level, what you've used in terms of energy. And so by implementing these smart meters and by implementing this real-time data using IoT, the utility industry has a really big room for growth and improvement.
Next, we're going to discuss IoT and the impact it has had on healthcare. And by the way, this is Morgan Cobb again. The IoT has had a particularly profound impact on healthcare, as it has demonstrated by the Allure Group. In July of 2018, Allure became the first Brooklyn-based skilled nursing facility to implement Early Sense, which is a remote monitoring system that tracks patients' vital signs and movements courtesy of sensors that are placed under mattresses and pillows. Since its introduction at the Bedford Center, one of 6 facilities in the Allure network, Early Sense has correlated to widespread results showing a 45% reduction in patient falls, a 60% reduction in bed sores, and an 80% reduction in code blue events. Bringing the IoT into medicine results in patient care that is better, safer, and more simple. From medical device implantation to smart sensors, the IoT can expedite the delivery of healthcare, allowing physicians to spend less time on logistics and more time treating conditions and consulting with patients. The IoT is already making a positive impact on medical care in several ways. Before computers entered the healthcare scene, collecting patient data, storing it safely, and monitoring it took a lot of manual labor. Now, IoT technology can collect data and deliver it to the provider no matter where they are, what time it is, and what devices they use to read it. The IoT's improvements to reporting can save lives. Spotting problems in real time allow for quicker and more effective treatment. Reporting emergency through mobile apps allows medics to get information faster and provide higher quality care before the patient arrives at the hospital. Due to remote monitoring of heart failure, the Center of Connected Health Policy reported a reduction in readmission rates by 50% within 30 days. Medical devices connected through Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and other technology send data to both the patient and the physician. Providers can access final reports and graphs to determine a conclusion for treatment. Data collection in this form can speed up the decision-making process and significantly reduce human errors. Platforms like Kai Technologies, Azure, which is Microsoft, and MindSphere, and others are improving the way medical data is collected and analyzed.
This is Will Steinman, and I'll be wrapping up our Internet of Things presentation. So, as mentioned in previous slides, it's obvious that the Internet of Things is absolutely everywhere. It's in our homes, our cars, our pockets, and even crazy things such as bike helmets or tennis rackets. And it's crazy to think that these technologies can exist in just about anything we use. And just a short 10 years or so ago was when the Internet of Things really took off. And the thought of the technology we have today was just a bunch of hypotheticals and what ifs. And while we have been able to see the incredible development of the Internet of Things over recent years, the most exciting part to me about all of this is the future of the Internet of Things. So to put it together in my research, I found a company called Statista, which shares graphs. They specialize in market and consumer data. And they had a graph regarding the Internet of Things. And in this graph, it said in 2010, there were less than 1 billion interconnected or IoT devices. And today there are approximately 20 billion devices. So 20 times that 10 years ago, and it's predicted that that number will double to 40 billion interconnected Internet of Things devices by 2025. So when looking at numbers and predictions like these, it's obvious the outlook for IoT in the coming years is immense, and the adoption of this technology is growing almost exponentially. Now, with the large amount of growth associated with IoT, people are worried that the rise of the Internet of Things and more advanced technology will end up taking jobs away from people and giving them to robots. But this is not fully the case. And of course, things like automation will take away certain jobs that have the capability of being replaced over time with machinery and robotics. But all the technology needs upkeep, designing, analyzing. For example, in 2018 alone, to a testament to this, over 80,000 IT jobs were created with the continued rise of the Internet of Things. So it's not all a bad thing. And besides the fact that the Internet of Things is growing by the billions of devices every year, the technology itself is advancing as well. It's said that the future of the Internet of Things is virtually limitless because it takes consumers' desires to integrate anything that can be integrated. And as I said earlier, it's funny to think of things being integrated like a bike helmet or tennis racket. And I think it's funny that I've seen it in my own life. My father likes to mess around with the idea of our whole house being integrated as much as possible, from our thermostat to the oven to the alarm, the locks on our doors. We can all control it from our phone. It's made our life a lot easier with the accessibility that IoT has provided for us. And this is just to say the applications within the technology that this is can be tailored to a vast number of consumer or business desires across virtually every single industry, including the ones we talked about earlier in our presentation. All this to say, the overall outlook of the Internet of Things can be hard to judge. All the predictions I saw from 6 to 7 years ago vastly underestimated the number of devices and interconnectivity that would be in place today. So who's to say that the prediction calling for X amount of devices by any certain year in the future is any more accurate? But I'll be the first to say the Internet of Things is here to stay. It's done nothing but grow since 2010. I'm curious to see how far our devices can become further interconnected.